What's going on, fellas? How y'all doing?
Not much. How are you?
Had better days.
Quarantined.
Yeah, we're all stuck inside our houses, and we had a little bit of free time, so we thought we'd ask some of the SE content creators to get together, and 3 of them decided to show up today. I think everyone else is a little bit busy. There was some interest, but we'll see. Maybe we can do this again with some other people.
Yeah, we'll try to make it a regular thing.
So, Anthony, how confident are you that you have the coronavirus? Just kidding.
Damn.
I think I derailed the conversation, but
No. I probably do have it. I would say I do have it because I was in Portland last weekend, or was it? It was 2 weekends ago now, and I think Seattle, Washington was kind of a hot spot. So I was around a lot of people, and I flew. So I think there's a pretty good likelihood that I do have it, but my confidence is probably 30%. It's pretty low.
What's the incubation period? Like 7 days? So how long have you been?
2 weeks.
It's 2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, it's about 10 days into a 14-day incubation period. But I may have even received it elsewhere, even before I went to Seattle, to Oregon. Yeah.
Well, best of luck with that.
I think I'm about like a 10%. I have no symptoms, no reason to. I'm an introvert, so I don't really go out very much, but also my job is around a lot of people, but I don't know. I have no reason.
Why are introverts doing SE, public SE? Isn't that interesting? Would you consider yourself to be an introvert? I think I'm somewhat introverted.
Yeah. The way I describe it, being introvert is not necessarily that I don't like to be around people, but it is draining, and I recharge by being alone. So I still enjoy like being around people. My job is being, handling being around people.
Would you prefer to be alone and not around people? You would?
Yeah. But like it's about what's the word I'm looking for? I'm blanking. Basically, it's not like I don't want any contact. It's more, I like to be alone most of the time, but if I'm alone all the time, then, I'll be a little like, man, I need to get out.
Quality over quantity.
Yeah.
And then when you go out, we were actually talking about this a little bit. Was it last night, Eddie? We were on the phone, or the night before?
Last night.
It was last night.
Yeah.
And then sometimes we will go out and not get any talks whatsoever. And then that could lead to some anxiety. Or we might have a few talks, but nothing worth taking the time to edit and upload. And then that could be a little frustrating. Oh, I should have just stayed in. But then if you stay in, then you're like, I should have gone out to do some talks.
Yeah, it's tricky. I think one good talk, even if you've been sitting there for a couple of hours, is enough to be like, oh man, I'm glad I stayed. But you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's a gamble.
Do you think your idea of what a good talk has changed since you guys first started going out and doing it?
I would say yes, in the sense that a good talk is, when I first started, it was like I did well and they did well, and they were honest, and we had an interesting topic. But now that I'm kind of like proficient with it, I'm not so worried about did I ask the right questions, or did I stumble through this. It's more like, do I have someone that is a good candidate, that's open and honest?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Not to say that I couldn't do better, but I'm less worried about that. Like, oh, I had this great opportunity and I just flubbed it. Like that doesn't really happen anymore.
It's more a function of the quality of the conversation partner.
Yeah.
Than your skills. Yeah. I definitely think that as well. Because sometimes you can get somebody to stop and then they talk really low and they're just kind of really boring. And you're thinking, even if we had a great talk, this may not translate really well into something interesting for people to watch.
Yeah.
But you don't know usually how somebody's going to behave, act, until you get them to stop and start talking.
Yeah, another thing is that you might have an interesting topic, and they may be super honest about it, but they don't quite understand. They kind of just go on to many other subjects, and you are constantly trying to bring them back and talk about the belief that you guys picked. And SE is supposed to be like this open, you go wherever they go, but they can definitely drive off a cliff, and the interview is just like, wait, what are we talking about now? Like, yeah. So it just depends.
Yeah. Have you ever do you guys have any techniques for ending a talk because you just don't think they would be a good candidate for a video conversation? There's been a few times where I'm thinking, oh, how can I end this in a polite way to move on to somebody else?
Yeah.
That's what the timer's for a little bit.
Timer helps with that. Yeah.
My usual spiel is if I say, I think I understand what you're saying now. Thank you for the talk. Like I think I get it now.
Yeah. So. It's not you, it's me.
Yeah.
But I wish there was somebody to say, like, in essence, this talk doesn't really seem to be going anywhere. It's probably a better use of my time to move on to somebody else. Have a nice day. But, I don't want to upset anybody, and I'm also, if I'm a dick to somebody in that way, they could complain maybe or warn other people not to talk to me. So I think you're sort of stuck with the conversation partner, at least for 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and having content ready, available. It's been nice streaming on Twitch the past few months, and I can easily split them up and have the highlight clips there. So even if I don't get the most amazing talks, some are like kind of average or a little bit above average, but still not worthy of YouTube. Mm-hmm. They can still be easily uploaded and clipped out and saved.
Yeah, that's a nice option for you. You can just upload everything, every talk that you've had, so people can see those if they really want to. Because a lot of people will ask me, why don't you upload everything? What are you hiding? It's like, not hiding anything. They're just they weren't entertaining.
Yeah, then I can share those links, just the best ones, the better ones, to Reddit or Facebook group or Discord.
How much additional work do you put into your Twitch, the videos that you're uploading to Twitch, and then you're like, oh, that's a good one. So you got you still have the Twitch version, right? And then you have maybe your YouTube version where you've added a lot of other stuff to it.
I pretty much do it while I'm downloading footage, and so it's like it's not extra time at all, really.
Oh, you're throwing your little what do you call it? The intro and the outro. Yeah.
Yeah, like I have 4 SD cards of one from each camera and audio. So when I'm downloading that to my computer, everything is the whole broadcast, like 4 hours worth of Twitch is already on Twitch. And then there's a highlight clipper thing on Twitch that's really convenient. You can just clip out each conversation and have that there on Twitch. It's very nice.
But for your videos for YouTube, you're using your GoPro captured footage for that, I take it, right?
Yeah, Twitch is my phone. YouTube is GoPros and the other audio.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys want to watch this little clip that I have?
Yeah. Sure.
All right. Let's go to the beginning. This is only 7 minutes long, and this is I was going to release this today, but here's the thing: this video is more of a teaser than any real conversation, because just as we get going, she has to leave, and we actually get interrupted too. So I was thinking, because it's a 3-part video series, I think I'm going to upload video 1 and video 2 at the same time, and then edit the 3rd one, and then maybe release that next week. I think people won't want to kill me as much if I had just uploaded the one video. That's sort of, it leaves you hanging, basically.
The appetizer.
Yeah, it's an appetizer. But I do like this one. I've been sitting on this one for months because I've been wanting to run into her for a 4th time. but it never happened. And now that the campus is on lockdown, the likelihood of us running into each other is probably pretty low, but you never know. Maybe she'll see these videos and want to reach out and do a fourth talk, but here, I'll hit play. Let me know if you guys can't hear it. Feel free to pause it too, anytime. Hello. Reid, were you listening to this live on the Discord server? Do you remember?
I don't remember if it was this one or one of the others, but I think I remember this person.
Well, I'm doing interviews, and I wanted to show people the throngs of people that are walking towards me. But it's interesting. When there's a lot of people walking towards me, it's harder to get people to stop an interview. It's when there's less people out here, it's easier to get people to stop. That's kind of fascinating. Do you guys ever notice that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yeah. My situation is a little different, but I noticed, just in some of your videos, what happens. If that makes sense?
You notice what happens?
When in your videos, I can kind of see the flow and who's looking at you and who's not. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But my situation is a little different. But like, for example, if I'm on a trail and there's I'm in the morning and there's a bunch of runners, they all have their headphones on, no one's going to stop. They're in there for their daily workout.
Right.
It's when it's less people, everyone's kind of taking their daily walk, and it's more of, they have time to look at me and for me to actually say anything. Because if let's say I want to flag a runner down, it's kind of like, hey, how's it going? And they're like, what?
Right.
Yeah.
Is there an emergency? What's going on? Why are you bugging me? Yeah.
So it might be that type of thing where people are just trying to get to point A and point D and point B, and they don't have time to entertain someone.
Would you have any interest
in cameras?
I'm interviewing people for my hobby, which is called street epistemology. It's where you take a claim that someone makes because they think that it's true, and then question them in a respectful manner to see how they got there. How could you actually be so sure that ghosts are real? How could you actually be so sure that vaccines cause autism? How could you actually be sure that there's a higher power that is listening to your prayers, for example? I have a challenge, though. Because I'm standing so far away from this camera, I can't sync the audio. I guess what I could do, I suppose, now that I have it just constantly recording, is sort of do like a hand clap or something. But syncing, that actually won't even work either, because I'm constantly stopping the recording on my chest camera or the God cam. So what I have to do is I wait for somebody to walk by, and then I try to line up her right foot, like that lady there, her right foot is down, her left foot is just about to come up off the ground. And then I look for that same, person walking by in the other footage, and then I line it up that way. So I'm actually lining this camera shot up visually, which is a little crazy.
Sometimes you can do that, yeah.
Yeah. Would you be interested in doing a short interview? I time it for 4 minutes.
Well, no one can be sure. None of those questions can be answered.
It's amazing how many people, though, are dogmatic about it and say, I'm 100% sure that vaccines do cause autism, that there is a higher power, that, that karma is real or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's funny how just asking a few questions can reveal the tenuous perch that people's beliefs are usually set on.
Nice term, tenuous perch.
Thanks.
I'm up for the challenge.
You're up for the challenge? Mm-hmm. Okay. I would advise you to maybe look at it not so much as a challenge, but as a mental exercise. But sometimes,
Anthony, remember we were talking about last night? Think about a game in which you pass certain criteria to justify your confidence.
Okay, yeah.
This kind of goes against, or this is kind of why I didn't try to implement it. Like you're saying right now, don't think of it as a challenge. Think of it as reflecting in that it's the same mentality of why I kind of didn't follow that.
The game idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm also trying to assure her it could be fun. Mm-hmm. that it may not be stressful, and it would be something that'd be like working together. That I'm not. I don't know. I just didn't want her to see it as a challenge, but more of like an exercise.
Yeah, frame it. Keep the frame as cooperative.
Yeah.
But sometimes it can be a challenging mental exercise. What's your first name?
Vanessa.
My name's Anthony. I'll just do a fist bump since you're eating. Can I ask you just
See, I was ahead of the times there.
to move in the shade just a bit so that I can put another camera on you while I interview you? Yeah?
Sure.
Okay, thanks. Are you done with school now for the day, or you off to another class?
I was going to stop by, see if my director can have a quick meeting.
I think the sun is either hitting this camera weird because she looks sort of like a little smudged or faded, or maybe I have like a smudge on the lens. You see how
the same thing.
I'm really sharp here, but she's kind of blurry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I may have smudged the lens or something.
How do I spell your first name, Vanessa?
Vanessa.
Okay, cool. I don't want to take a lot of your time, so I'll set the timer for 4 minutes. And again, the idea here is to, not only pick a belief that you think is true.
This is, I think, one of the first days of school, if I'm not mistaken. So there's a lot of people coming up to the post where we're standing at to look for directions. Like they figure out where their classes are and all that stuff.
But motivate you to behave differently because you think that it's true. You know what I mean? Like you'll actually light sage in your apartment to ward off those evil spirits, that type of thing. What do you think we can explore together?
Equity.
Equity.
Or the illusion of equity.
Before we go any further, I want to totally understand what your definition of equity is. And then maybe we can get into your claim about it. I want to make sure that we're on the same page.
Okay.
What does equity mean?
Equity, I think we're going to have to pick something in relation to a specific something. So equity in relation to epistemic justice.
Epistemic justice?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean by epistemic justice?
So epistemic justice is your version of history being the core curriculum, my history being the elective. Positionality, you are a white male or white passing male. I am a native scholar. So the dominant narrative in my K through 12 and continuing education in the anthropology department has been predominantly from a white lens. So epistemic justice would be, instead of asking white anthropologists about these natives or indigenous people, would be actually asking the natives and the indigenous peoples to tell their story and accept it as truth. So, for instance,
Boom. That
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, this is so cool to run into a person who has this view, because I've heard of a lot of people, especially Peter, for example, talks about this all the time, but I haven't seen it. I'm not seeing it as frequently, perhaps, as he seems to. So I was really excited when she said, I want to talk about equity, and then it's epistemic justice, and the narrative should be accepted as truth. I mean, I was really excited to encounter her.
museums house
Sorry, go ahead.
Kachina ancestors. You might see them as Kachina dolls. So within a Native American epistemology, those are not dolls, and that's disrespectful. They are Kachina ancestors. But
This seems very cultural relativistic so far. Interesting.
Yeah.
Notice how
Or
her use of epistemology versus what we're used to thinking of it as.
I was really excited that she was want to talk about epistemology, and maybe because I have all these stickers that say epistemology on it, maybe that caught her attention too. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
indigenous peoples. So, and everything has a lifespan. Nothing is meant to be preserved. Everything runs its course and dies. So Kachina ancestors are basically being held captive in museums because the Pueblo epistemological standpoint is disregarded for the dominant epistemology of preserving Kachina ancestors for the sake of white people to exoticize them.
So she's saying literally there are ancestors and some dolls in a museum that another tribe is showing off? Is that what she's saying?
I think what she's saying here is that white anthropologists think that these are dolls and they stick them in a museum, yet in reality, they're not dolls. They are really ancestors who are being imprisoned in museums.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Fascinating. And she doubles down on that. She clarifies this later. Yeah.
Okay.
That's epistemic justice.
That's awesome. That's a really good way of laying it out.
It back there.
I want to make sure I understand your example.
Pardon me for listening. I just I couldn't help but overhearing what you said. So are you saying that in Native American culture, what we call dolls, they call kachinas?
The Kachina ancestors.
Did that jump?
They're ancestors.
Kachinas?
The Kachina
Go back a little bit.
ancestors. They're
There's a weird jump
ancestors.
there.
They're
I couldn't help but overhearing what you said. So are you saying that in Native American culture, what we call dolls, they call kachinas?
the Kachina ancestors. They're ancestors. They're not dolls. And they live lives, and then the what is it called? The element.
I totally turned my body back towards her to maybe give him the hint that I'm not interested in what he has to say. Because like this guy, I didn't even know he was there listening in, completely jumps in to the conversation.
Yeah, like who the hell is this guy? I was just getting started.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, and his voice also kind of perturbed me.
Yeah.
The elements take them, they have lives, and then they're supposed to deteriorate and move on. But for the sake of preservation, exoticism from a dominant white perspective, they're held captive in museums for the sake of preservation, which completely negates an entire epistemological standpoint.
Yeah, I think I follow you.
Culture. Oh, was that 4 minutes?
That was actually 4 minutes. And
awesome.
if you don't mind, I can interview you next, but I would like to kind of just do a one-on-one. And would that be okay? All right. It's a fascinating topic. Maybe we can talk about it afterwards.
That was a good hint there.
Did you see me swing my
good.
arm as well? Like,
The hell out of here.
yeah, like I waved my arm just a little bit.
All right.
This
It's
is
a
gold.
fascinating
Like,
topic. Maybe we
come
can talk about it afterwards. Do you have to go, or do you want to
I
take
do.
off? Do you really? I'm so sorry that got disrupted, but thank you very much for your time.
Sure,
Can I
absolutely.
offer you one of these 3 pieces?
Yeah.
Maybe you can come back for the other 2. There's
Okay.
no obligation at all to come back to fill the set, but
All right.
Sorry for the disruption. I didn't.
Still
that's
interrupting.
okay.
There was a
Just-
time limit or something like that.
That's okay. Just so you know, I'm hoping to have 3 conversations with the same people, and I'd love to question you a little bit more about that topic.
Okay.
I don't usually get that topic, and I want to delve deeper into it, okay?
Okay, right on.
Thank you very much. Shit.
Hello.
Would you like to do an interview?
I guess so.
Okay, can you stand there?
Yeah.
I'll just set a timer for 4 minutes. What's your first name?
Oh man.
I throw a little Kachina doll in here too.
Oh really? Where?
I usually slip in a little something at the end here to kind of keep people
okay.
on the video longer. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Another Kachina doll. Yeah, so this was a little frustrating because it's a topic I hardly ever encounter. She was extremely articulate, and then it gets interrupted by somebody who I wasn't even sure it sidled up to me, you know, to jump in, and I don't even remember what we talked about. Who knows? But it was a little frustrating. But she came back. I'm really glad that I gave her the puzzle piece and incentivized her to come back, because she came back for 2 more talks. So I'm going to upload this one and the second talk, which I'm still editing, I think I'll upload simultaneously and then maybe wait a week or two and then upload the third one. I'll probably turn the third one into a breakdown video.
If you're going to upload them at the same time, why don't you just make them one video?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. That's a good question.
Seems like it would increase the likelihood of people not finding the second part of the interview or the second interview if it was a separate video.
Wouldn't it increase the chances, though, of people watching the whole series if there were 3 out there rather than 2?
Well, you could just turn it into part 1 and part 2.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It does make it more interesting if it's obvious there's 3 interviews, 3 videos, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It was really funny, even at the end where he was like apologizing. You're like, why are you talking? Like, go.
Okay, it's fine. Just let me. You're still ruining it. You're still ruining it when you're attempting to apologize for it.
Yeah.
That's fine though.
Yeah.
That was my talk. I don't know. I'll have to think about that. I think I'm leaning more toward but I'll upload them 3 individually, but I probably wouldn't monetize. I definitely won't monetize this one, but I probably would the second one, and I probably would the third one as well, the breakdown one. There will be 4. I think I'll do 4 videos total. The third one, there will be 2 versions of it. One is just the whole conversation without any commentary, and then I'll do a commentary video on it.
Yeah, I should probably, like I did a commentary with Ty on my channel, I should probably upload just the interview unlisted and put it in as a link or something.
Yeah. I did the same thing with the one that I did with the woman named Kasia, but just as a courtesy to have it out there for people who would say, I really wish you uploaded this without all your commentary on it. But that one, that's been viewed only 346 times, and it only has 4 comments on it. One of those is probably my comment, my pinned comment.
Just the interview
just
version?
The talk without any commentary whatsoever. But it's an unlisted video. People won't normally spot it. They have to click through to it.
Okay, well, that's pretty good then.
Yeah. So people do, I guess, want to see it uninterrupted.
I have a question. So if you upload a video and it's not, public yet, but people can still find it, once you do make it public, does it send out a notification, or is that only when you upload it?
You've got one opportunity to notify your subs, I believe, and it's when you switch it from unlisted or private to public. And if you don't have that box checked of notify subscribers, you'll miss your window.
Okay. So
if you make it public and you're like, damn it, I forgot to check the box. As far as I know, that box is now grayed out for notifying your subs. You'd have to pull the video down and re-upload it to get that, to trigger that notification.
Well, that definitely was an appetizer. I mean, I'm like, I want the next video.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I heard this one live, but I didn't hear the rest. So I'm
darn.
Can't wait to hear the rest.
Yeah, it's insane. On the third one, I don't think it's on the second one. I'm halfway done editing. I could play some of the second one if you want to watch it. How much do I have left? I have 5 minutes left of editing.
I don't think we can hear your computer audio through Zoom.
No, I can't even hear it when I play it for some reason. Let's see.
Oh, well, we can do another.
Oh, it is working.
Stream, right?
Yeah, you don't necessarily have to play the second video. If anything,
no, I don't want to play. I don't want to play the second one. But on the third one, she comes back, and a few times she says, "I don't know," and then there's a kind of a. Did I tell you guys this? There's like a noisy group of people, like 2 or 3 people, about 10 feet away from us, and I think I like snap my fingers to get their attention to be like, "Shut up,"
Yeah.
And she jumps on me for that. She's like,
oh shit.
So that's your privilege doing that, and that I'm like, what?
Oh, wow.
But now that I think about it, it could very well be a defensive response because of the uncomfortableness, maybe from the topic. I'm not sure. but I stay focused. I get right back to the claim, you know.
It would be funny if someone else was near them and said, whoa, 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 why are you talking to him that way? What kind of privilege do you have?
Ooh. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So I was on Twitter a couple weeks ago on Twitter. I think I was like on some apologist thread or something like that. And someone was like saying, yeah, I wish I could see what actually happens when Anthony Magnabosco is doing interviews. He just uploads the certain kinds that he wants, yada, yada.
Well, that's true. I do upload the kinds that I want.
Yeah. But he's
how could you not?
He's implying that,
I'm hiding something or
yeah. And so I'm like, well, you can actually go and watch it live if you just go to what is it called?
Discord.
Discord, yeah. And he's like, oh, well, that would be really interesting to see what he's actually doing. I'm like, well, he's the one who tells you every time he goes out. Then I'm basically trying to just let him know that there's nothing actually being hidden. It's just a matter of like quality uploads.
Yeah. If you're trying to hide something, you're doing a bad job.
Yeah.
Hiding something doesn't help the people who want to learn it, because I could be setting people up for false expectations. All right.
Yeah.
So, now, do I upload the best examples that I think are the best? Yeah, because I want to show the best, the best outcomes. But people can listen in, like Eddie was saying. You can go to the Discord server and listen into them, and then I think it becomes evident. Like, okay, I'm bored listening to Anthony have this talk. I wish he would move on to the next person. That's exactly why I don't upload it.
Yeah.
Right.
Nobody would watch the good ones if if the good ones were hidden amongst the everyday ones.
I think in their head they're envisioning like you happen to find an educated believer or something like that, and they just totally own you or something like that.
Oh,
like, oh, got him. But he's not going to upload that one. But that obviously
never happened. But I mean, I don't have any issues. I mean, I've had some good talks with semi-educated theists about the topic.
You started out with street preachers, and you went to street preachers at your college as well. Are they not qualified?
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. I'm trying not to touch my face, but I constantly do.
I don't know.
So would you be opposed to talking to an actual apologist or anything like that? I know sometimes it's like it's not going to be recorded, so it's a waste of your time. But if it was like kind of like high profile things, would you be interested in doing it, or the nature of them being an apologist kind of like, it's probably not going to be an honest conversation?
I'm kind of torn on it. I mean, I have talked to apologists, but if it becomes evident that they are being dishonest, or they're just delaying or being obtuse on purpose, then it's a disincentive to want to talk to them. I'd rather just talk to people who are really being honest with themselves. And I don't get the sense that apologists really are. But I've done some interviews with some apologists, like Trent Horn. I think I went on his podcast a few months ago. Now, was I SEing his claim? No, it was more about me talking about what SE was. Although I think we kind of got into faith a little bit, and talked about that. But
my feeling is that because you don't have apologists knocking on your door saying, "Hey, I'd like you to do that on me. I'd like you to do that on me," tells me something. I mean, there are some that have. They do.
Oh yeah. I mean, they don't knock on my door, but I'll get messages all the time from more experienced apologists. And every 10th comment on my video is something along those lines. Why don't you talk to a real person, a real experienced person?
Right. Yeah. But if, like, I know Cy Den Brooding Cage, whatever his name is, like, that would be an unproductive conversation, guaranteed. But do you actually get not just people saying you should talk to this person? Do you actually get those people messaging you?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But I'm not a big fan of giving despicable people oxygen to promote, to promote their platforms. I guess I'd probably rather just run into some, like an apologist on the trail or at the school that would like to be videoed than some sort of internet apologist talking to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'd rather just
apologists,
meet them in person.
Apologists like to frame even conversations as debates, and just the framing of a debate perpetuates the idea that there's even a debate to be had at this point. People believe in God not because of rational reasons. Mostly it's underlying psychological and social reasons. And SE gets to those deeper things much quicker. And apologists don't even go there for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know though. I think I would be up for the challenge to speak to an apologist, and it may go very badly, definitely, because they may not like participate, or may want me to start answering questions about whatever their belief happens to be, and then turn it into debate, because that could definitely happen, and that would be a reason. But like, I don't know. I think there might be some value in it.
There might be. There seems to be some people who are doing it. For example, Doug comes to mind. He talks to apologists all the time. They don't, and I actually do. So I've been engaging with people a lot on TikTok, and some of them, they have some pretty big ass following. So I think I would call them apologists for Christianity or Islam. And I have some really good talks. In fact, I'm right in the middle of one right now with a guy on TikTok.
Just text.
It's all text-based, and the commenting section on a TikTok video is horrible. You cannot follow a thread at all. It's very, very difficult. But, I mean, how many Christians, what percentage of Christians are apologists?
Very, very low.
0.0025?
Yeah.
And, I'm looking to commoditize SE, to put it into the hands of everyday people to use it with everyday people. But it can be used with apologists. It just, I think, takes more time. I've talked about that many times. The time commitment to talk with an apologist. And again, I'm just not really crazy about elevating anybody specifically. Also, I was invited on, what is his name? Justin Brierley's show. We were talking for the last few months, maybe even a year now, trying to do something. But, if he brought me on to introduce SE to his audience, to educate people about it and answer his questions about SE, I'd be willing to do it. But I think his thing is, you bring on two opposing sides and you have them argue about the merits of it, I suppose. I'm just not necessarily interested in that, so I passed on it. Maybe somebody else would want to do it at some point, but it's just not my area of interest.
I've been doing the meetup in Los Angeles, which went pretty well so far, but now I've kind of put that on hiatus.
Nice. Well, not nice that you had to put it on hiatus, but it's nice that you had a turnout. I take it the campuses are closed, huh? They just close everything.
I assume so. I'm in Virginia right now. Anyway.
Are you?
Wanted to get out of a big city for the next few weeks just to be safe.
Okay. Well, maybe we can do this again. We can get some more. Oh, did you want to watch another video, or you want to wrap it up?
There was one person, Barrett. It's like a 5-minute video. Maybe we could watch that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a good one.
How do I clear? Do I have to refresh or?
I'll put it in the new one. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Actually, we're not supposed to be doing that because of
Oh, is this somebody that showed up at your
coronavirus.
meetup?
We're not supposed to be.
Yeah, this is Barrett. He, like a year ago, invited me to his pizza place. He owns his wife owns a pizza place, and he helps with it. And we just talked about SE, and then recently started the meetup, and he came by. It was cool.
Oh.
And he talked to someone about how the voice in our heart is reliable.
Voice in our heart. Ooh, cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Supposed to be shaking hands anymore. I'm just kidding. I don't have it. I don't think. But so where are you from?
Yeah, even at this point, about 12 days ago, yeah, 12 days ago, we were a little worried. So,
Yeah.
I'm from Poland.
Nice. Where? Warsaw, Krakow?
Warsaw, yeah.
Okay.
I came from Krakow, but I live in Warsaw.
Okay. Nice. So
Record. Is it all right? Is it okay if we
gotta remind him to record.
is it okay if we record?
Yeah.
She's like, I'm sitting here. Of course you can record. Duh.
Technically,
Just covering our bases.
Now we are.
Perfect. So
Oh, you're giving
tell
out
me
the little
something that you
puzzle pieces,
believe
I see.
that affects your
Yep,
life, and then
they've
we
been
can,
really good.
we could maybe talk about how you came to that belief.
Okay, so I believe in the voice of the heart.
What is that?
What is that? That's the thing that tells you what to do in life without thinking about it.
Okay. Is it a voice that you hear in your head?
This totally reminds me of the Democratic debate where I think it was like 4 years ago or more than that. Who was it that walked right across the camera as it must have been, I think it was, some Democratic debate, and like kind of what Reid's doing. It's no longer near that, but it just reminded me of it. Like having a conversation and Reid's just kind of in the background, straightening things up.
Okay, yeah.
Or
It's something that you feel inside, inside, that leads you through the life. Because there are some things unexpected, and you are not thinking about it, but you're feeling it.
okay.
Like, for example, when you have to choose what to do in life, you just feel it. You may think different, but you will still do the thing that you feel is right to do.
Okay. Where do you think that voice comes from? What is that? What is the voice? Is it something in your mind?
No, it's definitely not from mind. It's from heart. It's like something like intuition, something that makes you the person you are right now.
Okay. How sure are you that is real? That is true? On a scale from 1 to 100, 1 being I don't really think it's
100,
real.
because it totally applies to me.
Okay, so like you'd be all the way.
He's good. Who is this guy? He's really good.
Yeah,
got
he's
a
like
nice, calm style.
Yeah, he's super upbeat, charismatic. I like it.
He strikes me like as kind of a safe person. Yeah. Can kind of put you at ease. That's good.
All the way over here at the 100. Like,
Okay.
Okay. What made you believe that this is real?
What made me believe that this is real? Because every step I take, every decision I take in my life is based on that. So that's why
Okay.
it's real for me.
So what you're saying is that the choices that you make in life about
Yes.
the things you do, it comes from a voice that's inside of you.
Yes, exactly.
You don't think about it. It's more.
I'm thinking about it, but even though if I think it's not right, I still choose to do what my heart tells me to do.
Okay.
So
What you're saying, I believe you're saying, and please tell me if I'm wrong, if
Yeah.
I'm not saying it,
Okay.
what you think, that your heart is more reliable than your head.
yeah,
when making choices.
Many times, yes. I'm trying to, find the gold center, but heart knows what it wants, right?
How?
I wonder where he's going to go with this.
Yeah, I forgot. We'll see.
Yeah. It's good so far.
Is when you use your heart to make decisions, is it ever?
That's a good question. excellent question. I wonder if she'll shift her body at all with that question.
Ever wrong?
Basically, not always. Maybe it's not always the best for me, but I'm feeling fine with it.
Okay. Would you want other people around you using their heart instead of their head to make decisions?
Sometimes I wish it was that way because heart is better
She's doubling down.
than mind.
Okay. Is the heart always better than the mind for all people?
I don't know. It's up to the people choice.
Okay.
It depends what person are you.
I think that question right there is kind of like him doubling down as well. Like, are you sure?
Yeah.
But I think I'm not sure which way it's going to go. But my mindset is right now is like an outsider test. Like if someone else's heartfelt opinion was in conflict with yours, how do you know which one's right?
She's also saying, it sounds like she's saying that it's up to the person to see which of the two works best for you. That it's not just an all-in-one, it's not just something that applies to everybody. That there are some people who using their heart over their mind is better for, and she maybe puts herself in that category. So it might be interesting to talk about how does a person determine which category they best find themselves that they're best in, I suppose, which could get to reliability.
Like how do you know? Sorry, go ahead.
How do you distinguish a voice or something you're getting from your heart versus your mind? Is there a way to tell?
Yeah.
Or
what is it about? What makes it more advantageous to use your heart than your mind for some people? What is it about the person that they would fare better if they used their heart than their mind to make a choice, to make a decision?
Yeah. And then another question would be like, if someone else shouldn't rely on their heart and they should rely on their mind, but you're different, how would they figure that out if they thought that they should rely on their heart? You know?
Oh, yeah. Somebody thinks that they should be relying on their heart, but in reality, it would actually be better for them if they didn't. How could that person figure it out?
And then take all that and then internalize it.
It's a better choice or a worse choice. How true is the voice in your heart? Like, is it? Does everybody have it?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Okay.
I have no idea.
Okay. But it's something you hear.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And you're 100% sure do you hear it audibly or is it just a
squirrel?
Do you know what audibly means? Like, do you hear it in your ears or in your head? Is it a voice?
Yes, it's a voice. I can feel it and it's a voice. It's like, one thing.
Okay. Does it speak in Polish?
Yes. Because I'm Polish.
That's a good
Spanish.
freaking question.
Yeah, Spanish. It speaks to me in Spanish. I don't understand anything. But no, that's funny. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It was a nice experience.
Good. Excellent.
Okay.
Thanks. Enjoy the rest of it.
See, this is what's cool about SE, even when you're first starting out, is if you aren't comfortable continuing the conversation, you don't necessarily have to. It's at your own pace,
Yeah. I think he was probably happy.
Yeah.
Oh, she's got some friends or something off camera. Yeah, it was. I would imagine that he was pretty happy to hear her say "I don't know" a couple of times. That's really good to hear. Of course, she's thinking about it. That's good.
Yeah, hopefully we can get back at it. Maybe in a few months, we'll see.
Yeah.
Here's a good question. Obviously, doing SE doesn't involve 10 or more people, which is like the CDC, limit.
Yeah.
Would there be any issues? Do you think? I mean, Well,
Yes,
Reid,
people stopping
Reid,
to talk.
yeah, Reid, your setup might be a little problematic because people are talking to microphones that can contaminate them and all that stuff. But the way me and Anthony do it might be better in this situation. We can just keep our distance.
Yeah, I had little Clorox wipes wiping down the headphones in between interviews, or at least when I could. But yeah, the microphones, I'd have to like, how could I clean the microphone things?
Yeah.
And,
You could even
it'd be
just
tough.
put a container of Clorox wipes on your table, and people would probably spot it and immediately think, oh, he's aware of this problem and probably taking some measures. And you can probably even just give them a sheet when they sit down to wipe down their area or whatever.
Or give them a mask. I was kidding.
I do wonder, though, I was actually thinking about this yesterday. I was wondering if people might be standing a little bit further away from each other from this point on. Like the social norm of distance speaking maybe is another foot. So maybe they'll be standing a little bit further back, which could impede the quality of the audio because we're capturing the audio from our GoPros.
Yeah.
So it might be a little bit harder to hear people going forward because of that, possibly.
Yeah, definitely.
We're also handing them stuff like, magnets and stickers and puzzle pieces.
Yeah.
These are all
Lots
things
of-
that are being touched and handled.
Yeah.
It's
It's
tough.
probably just not a good idea.
Yeah.
We can do virtual. We can set up. I'll figure out how to do virtual for a while. We'll see how it goes.
Get some apologists on if you want.
Maybe. But cool. Thanks, guys, for hanging out. This was
fun.
nice.
Let's try to do it again. Maybe we can get a few more people on here.
Yeah.
Thanks, Reid, for putting it all together.
Yeah, thanks, Reid.
Sure thing. We should have some time. So hopefully not too late.
All right. Have a good one.
Later.
Stay safe.